no.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Oh, there we go. I pressed the button incorrectly. There we go. Right, now we're live. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I was trying to reach across the desk and press the slider, and I missed it. And pressed the wrong one. Sorry, I need longer arms. Mr. Fantastic over here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to TC Weekly. I'm back. I know, right? Shocker. Paramount PR, calm down. Nothing bad's going to happen. I'm once again Captain Jack, your regular host of this channel, who has been MIA for the last couple of weeks. But I finally get myself back on here. I say it like I'm not allowed to be streams. I'm the host, so therefore I am allowed. But hey, I'm back. And I also have Mr. Dom Harris. Dom, how you doing? You've been keeping the ship sailing pretty well.
Yes, I've been here for the last couple of weeks. Now that you're here, you could be an imposter. That's what the title is.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, I've been replaced by somebody else. I hope my actual person's having a bloody holiday and doing something more interesting. Maybe it's at a bar. Maybe he's heading forward.
It's been a very interesting couple of weeks. Some good trek, but very busy covering it all. So yes.
There we go. We'll boost everyone's sound because obviously they can't hear you. That's obviously you're also phasing in and out of stuff.
That's why I'm in the transporter room.
Well, it might be an echo.
Like they showed.
Let's double check. I think my Discord sounds might have jumped around. Let me double check things a second.
Okay.
There we go. There's an echo because apparently I had to. We don't use the person thing very often.
Yes.
Chat right chat. That's still sounding good. Mike Orcs is doing good. Is this actually
Tim
running
says
through?
that's better.
Okay, good. Now we can hear. Happy
gone.
days. There we go. For some reason, my camera is also producing an echo, but there we go. Problem solved. What was we saying? Yeah, you've been in charge Trek Central for the past week. How have you found it?
I find it okay. Yes.
That's
just
right.
a
Wow.
lot of stress.
Yeah.
Just okay.
It's just okay.
I see how much work you have to do.
Yeah.
And I'm more appreciative of that is my bullshit answer.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Once we're down. Well, hey. We're also joined by Mr. Texture, because usual Tex. How you doing?
Howdy.
I was hoping you could say more while I was taking a glass of water. Let me take a better sip. Say something interesting.
Something interesting.
Thank you. And we've also got Nicole here. Also, Nick, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm still living. Yeah, getting it. It's been an interesting week. Let's jump in to talk about Picard straight away. I was so excited that Admiral Kane turned up this week, and if you're a Battlestar fan, you'll appreciate the reference, and more of you need to watch that show. That's what I'll say.
I still haven't watched it.
Yep, so that's really disappointing. That's your project.
Oh, no. I can't believe it.
You've got a holiday coming up. You've got a holiday coming up.
Not to watch whatever show.
No, but you've got a long flight, so watch a couple episodes on that.
Oh, that's a good point.
Exactly, yeah. Watch a couple of them. He won't, yeah. Lying bastard.
I won't. There'll be better things to watch. But,
If you're watching episode 1000 of One Piece, I beg to differ, but
rude. But yes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this week, obviously, episode 5, Imposters. This is a midway point of Star Trek Picard season 3. Very exciting. We're halfway through now. It's kind of disappointing. This adventure is going to be over soon. But not too soon. We've still got a lot to talk about. For the minute, this week's episode, we had to talk about Michelle Forbes making her return to Star Trek after 30 years, give or take a few years, which is fantastic to have her back as Commander Ro Lauren, rather than Ensign Ro, which is fantastic. So, yeah. Nick, you're a big fan of Next Generation. What did you think of her return?
I was a bit thrown. I was more confused about how neither of them would know that she was back in Starfleet more than anything. But it was really good seeing her.
It was fantastic. I really found the whole thing really emotional, to be fair. Obviously, spoiler warning if you're watching a stream, you've not watched the episode, by the way. What the hell are you doing? Her conversation, even before the demise, shall we say, her conversation with Jean-Luc was very touching. And, it felt very real and it's written very well as well, which is really nice. And Michelle Forbes is a fantastic actress, and I would love to have seen her in more Trek. And there's no reason she can't come back in the future. This is Star Trek. If you're dead, you've definitely got a green card to come back. Let's be honest. Who hasn't died in Trek and come back at this point? Everybody's dead. But no, Tex, your thoughts?
I'm a big fan of the episode Preemptive Strike. That was her final on-screen appearance until now. And, other than a couple of events here and there in the novels and maybe some of the other expanded universe content, yeah, we have not had ensign or Lieutenant Rowe, I guess, when she finally exited TNG. There's always this hope on DS9, watching that show during its original run, always this hope like, oh yeah, she could always pop up with the Maquis and it'd be really cool. And I just at some point had given up hope. So to actually see that episode Preemptive Strike followed up on and have like this big dramatic story between her and Picard, and kind of the sequel to that moment in that episode that tell Picard I'm sorry, that whole betrayal and everything. I never thought we would have that followed up on. I never even thought that you just because of Michelle Forbes' reluctance to come back, and whoever knew if Patrick Stewart would ever be Picard again. So yeah, it really was a dream come true, but it wasn't even a dream I even thought to hope for. It always seemed so unlikely. So very, very cool to finally see it.
It was fantastic. I think it's really, really well written. It's also amazing, like, I don't know how much you guys have read into this, but when you read about the original plan for Deep Space Nine and how they wanted Michelle Forbes to be the character of, or not be Kira, but like in her place as like, the XO of the station and the link between the Bajoran people and also, the Federation Starfleet, which is really cool. And like, imagine how different Deep Space Nine would have been with someone like Michelle Forbes. I mean, it's fantastic. We got, Nana Visitor as Kira Nerissa. I think that's a great character, and I think we would have been robbed if we didn't get that. But it's so great that Michelle Forbes, there's room for her to come back and complete Rose's journey, shall we say. And I would love to, I mean, Dom, she's featured in one of the latest comics, isn't she, Roland?
Yes.
So we're getting a bit of a story there.
We do have one of the editors saying that the current comics which are coming out are in the current continuity of Star Trek.
Which is fantastic.
And they do know what is coming out up in Picard and all these things, so they can do that connective tissue between it. So when Picard asks, how the hell is Ro back in Starfleet? She betrayed us. She went into the Maquis. She does give a reason. Oh yeah, I was put in prison, put in a rehabilitation program. And then put in Starfleet Intelligence because her work with terrorist groups. But in the comic, you see a little bit more of that, which was interesting because that comic came out the same week as this episode.
Very well timed, Myers.
So
for once,
it was
Paramount,
very well timed. Yeah.
For once, PR have managed to do a great job and actually lining something up release-wise and not spoiling up. But the reason I mentioned that was like, I would love it if someone could write a really good book about, Roland's adventures in between when she left the Enterprise D and came to like, be where she is now. So we've got the comic tying in that. I would love someone like Una McCormack, who's written a lot about the Cardassians, for example, and Deep Space Nine. I think she'd be a fantastic writer to maybe do a bit of Roland set in the Maquis and the whole demilitarized zone and things like that, and after the Dominion War. Like, I think that could be amazing personally. And maybe it's something we'll get. Like, Star Trek authors are very consistent, even though Star Trek publishing is up the wazoo. Like, it's very consistent, and the books that come out are really good quality. And Dom, you read quite a few of them as well. And like, even they are obviously in this new canon right now because we got rid of the other universe. Not in a Star Wars Legends kind of way, but in a half-assed attempt way of doing that, but not actually saying we've done it.
Well, they did it in a way that they completely extinguished that storyline.
But they've still not said the books are canon.
And everything.
Which is annoying. Like, at least Star Wars actually admits the books are canon up until they want to overwrite them in a TV show. Like, come on, give us justice now. Tex, the episode overall, though, what did you think of the entire, Changeling Imposters and the compromised Starfleet? What are your thoughts on that one?
So this season of Picard, it's been a lot of ideas that if you just presented it to me on paper, Beverly and Picard have a secret love child, kind of like David Marcus, or, here, like, Starfleet has been infiltrated again. And this time it's changelings again. I would have been like, I don't know. That doesn't really seem like a great idea. But the execution throughout this season has consistently just sold me on all these ideas that otherwise I would be unsure of. So yeah, I like that we got like an explanation of why these changelings are a little weird, like they're fleshy. I guess Vadic just has to cut off her hand to do whatever like weird thing she was doing there. And the way they kind of look like bloody and gory and stuff, it's because, yeah, they are closer to what like a normal organic being would be. So I like that they're taking something from one of the legacy shows, with the changelings, but they're doing something different with it. They're evolving it, just like they say this is an evolution of those life forms.
It's fantastic to see how they're changing it as well, because they could have done it as the default changelings, which would have been cool. But also, we are learning this is almost like a breakaway section, I'm guessing. Like, there's something that's been alluded to. So therefore, like, they are going to be different, and maybe they've done this to survive, hence evolution and things like that. So it opens up a lot of avenues, and hopefully we continue to learn more about this Changeling faction, I guess we call them, or group, as we go further down the line. Nick, I've got a question for yourself. Vulcan gangsters, what do you think? Your thoughts on that one?
That threw me for a loop. I'm still unsure. I don't know. I don't know if I like it, but it was different.
It was interesting. I mean, we had a lot of people saying, oh, we've had Vulcan gangsters in Star Trek before. In Deep Space Nine, we had a female Vulcan who I wouldn't say was really a gangster,
Sakona.
more just a weapons dealer or like a black market dealer, I think was that. We had her in Deep Space Nine. She was working with Quark. I can't remember. I remember her. I can visualize in my head. What happened to her?
She worked with the Maquis. She was part of the Maquis.
She was trading with Quark, wasn't she? Because they were talking about weapons and like things like that.
Yeah, she was trying to
woo her. Yeah.
She was trying to secure weapons to arm the Maquis, and then Quark was trying to do business with her, but also attempt to go on a date with her, and
as usual,
typical Ferengi shenanigans.
Typical Deep Space Nine writing, where it's like, it's a woman, we'll take her on a date, because apparently that's how old shows are written. You know, this just takes me back to the conversation we was having before we started this streaming.
But yeah, also we had the Vulcan in Field of Fire that went and killed people because of his flawed logic.
Is that the Enterprise episode?
Oh yeah.
No, that's different.
Okay.
But because he suffered so much loss in his life,
yeah, it was like a PTSD thing from the Dominion War.
And then we have
he was a Vulcan who snapped.
Yes. And then we have the Vulcan extremists in Discovery, who took their logic so far to be like, okay, we're going to be terrorists now. And then you even have Cybok, who went on his own path without logic.
And we look forward to seeing him in Strange New Worlds. Way.
Well, there was that one dude in Strange New Worlds in was it Spock Amok with when Spock was in T'Pring's body and had to go arrest him.
Yeah, so we know there's like an institution for Vulcans, of those who either have gone a separate path with their logic away from what Vulcan teaches, or have completely gone against logic in Vulcan society. So it has been set up, which is interesting.
But it was cool to not have all Vulcans just be like a total monolith. You know, you have variation in there, and I thought it was kind of neat that idea of something that Janeway tells Tuvok about. Oh, you Vulcans, you can use logic to defend anything or condemn anything. You can twist it to justify whatever you want to justify. And yeah, like this guy, obviously his spin on logic was that, oh yeah, it makes sense to have an organized criminal empire, and just the audaciousness of having that his bling where he has like that gold chain with the gold edict.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's a ballsy idea, because it's kind of dumb, but Star Trek does have like a tradition of just we're just going to do the wacky audacious ideas. We're going to take Kirk and McCoy and send them in like the Old West, or just have Alice chase the white rabbit across the screen. We're going to do like the weird wacky stuff. So I like when Star Trek does the boldly go thing and does these bold moves like that. I don't know if we needed another crime lord immediately after Sneed, though. It really felt like they were just padding out the Worf Raffi story, and did we really need them to hang out on Metalis Prime for another episode? I don't think so. They obviously wanted to pump the brakes and just pad that story before they get everyone wherever they're going. Sounds like Daystrom.
I was going to say, if anyone wants to submit questions to us, by the way, if you want to ask us how we found the latest episode or want us to talk about a specific topic, feel free to super chat right now. You can click the buttons right now to support the channel, and we'll answer your questions as soon as we get to it, which would be fantastic. But Tex, to go back to a point you mentioned there, and I think this is something Picard as a series as a whole has done really well, and that is species variation. We see that in season 1 with different sections of Romulans. We've seen it obviously now in season 3 with different Vulcans. I think this is something the series as a whole, through different creators and different people, has done really well. It is seeing different variations in different species we are also familiar with in Star Trek. Like Vulcans are one of the core species besides humans of the Star Trek universe. We've seen them a million times, and for as long as Trek goes on, we'll continue to see them a million times. It's a staple point. If you're making a Star Trek show, you need a Vulcan. But to do a Vulcan differently, and maybe this one stuck the landing or it didn't, like, it's still a pretty cool idea, and it's not too far-fetched. If we look at, like, you know, people from different countries and things like that, you have people doing various different things in lives, and various different people, different regions and things like that. Every species has variation in it and diversity and things like that. I mean, it literally lives up to the whole infinite diversity and infinite combination. So it makes sense Vulcans would have infinite diversity and infinite combinations. And I think it's something really cool Picard has done as a series, is having very different different looks at the species we're so familiar with. I'd love to see more Andorians, to be fair. Like, just get Jeffrey Combs back as another Andorian. Like, it would be fantastic if we could do that. Let's talk about the ship, the USS Intrepid. My favorite scene from this entire episode was the evil starship, shall we call it, rising up with the flaming nacelle and being like, what the hell have you just done? I'm going to kick the shit out of you. It's like when you piss off like a really big animal or something like that, and it's like, what the hell did you do that for? That was a really cool VFX shot there, and the VFX team, hats off to them, because they pulled that off. Like, making a starship look angry is a pretty hard one to do, especially when Star Trek ships don't typically look evil. Like, if we look at Star Wars and things like that, or Battlestar, some ships in there look pretty evil to begin with, like a Star Destroyer, where in Star Trek, they look pretty friendly. So here, to make it look evil was pretty cool, especially at rising up. Nick, what did you think of that scene?
Well, ultimately very sad, because, you know, the explosion was Ro dying. But yeah, like you said, it was a beautiful shot. I really liked it.
I hope if Lower Decks has like a season that's set in the future, there could be like another conspiracy guy was like, she beamed off, it was fine. He beamed her off. Tex, you're a ship guy as well. The Intrepid, what did you think of the design as well?
Yeah. Well, the design, it wasn't one of my favorite designs, but I've just through rewatching the episode, I find some angles where I really like it. I think it looks sharp. These 25th century nacelles that they're using on these various ships, I've been like a fan of them, and I'm like, what do those remind me of that I like so much? It's kind of like the Phase 2 version of the Enterprise that was designed for the 1970s TV show that never got made, but I like, yeah, they're kind of like that same type of like rectangular kind of flat build, and so yeah, like I like this new aesthetic that they're establishing with Picard now, where it does look like a continuation of what we saw in that TNG Voyager DS9 era. And we should also mention the ship, the Intrepid's class was named the Duderstadt, right? And that was after Doug Drexler's late wife, Dorothy Duder.
Which is fantastic. It's a great way to honor her as well. Especially given Doug
she
is
worked
like...
on Star Trek. She was a food stylist on Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, nice. Star Trek Enterprise will tell like a massive variety of food, so that makes sense as well. I was watching an episode the other day. Like, yeah, a lot of mess hall scenes, a lot of the captain's private dinner table scenes, and Doug Drexler, if people don't know, designed that starship. He designed the NX-01, so. Yeah, definitely an important dude to the just the look of Star Trek in recent decades, which is fantastic, and it's a great way to honor somebody so close to him as well, to have a ship named after his late wife, which is fantastic. I can't wait to do the breakdown of the ship as well and look at some behind the scenes detailing, because luckily the Picard art department has been very good at releasing breakdowns and things like, you know, like breakdowns of ships like that have been in the series. It's gonna be great to look at them more as well. I can't wait. Like, even when this like season ends, and should I say series ends, we've got so much more to talk about, because there's gonna be a ton of behind the scenes stuff coming out, which is awesome. Also, I just want to say, I think the direction of this episode, or the directing in general, was fantastic. Like, it kept the tension and kept the pacing really well. And Dom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Dan Leo, how do you pronounce his name? He's a newcomer to Trek, isn't he? I don't think he's directed for Trek before.
Is he?
Strange New Worlds.
Has he done Strange New Worlds?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but I think he did one of these Strange New Worlds season 1 episodes.
We're such in like Picard stuff now. It's like, right, we'll come back to Strange New Worlds later. Mentally stored away. Regardless, I think
he directed Memento Mori.
Oh, perfect. I think he excels at these types of episodes, because like Memento Mori is obviously similar to this in a way with the structure of it, and like, I would love to see him direct more Treks. I think he really gets it, and also keeps tension, but also allows other scenes to flow.
I think he's very good at tension episodes.
Yeah, and these suspenseful episodes. I like the like these high stakes suspenseful episodes. Like keep giving those scripts to him, because he's doing a great job directing them.
Let's
and
talk
I think
about.
all the directors this season so far have been great, from Frakes.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Let's talk about Jack
Daniel,
Crusher though, because that's something we've been theorizing on for quite a while. Nick, what did you think of his like berserk scene in the corridor, shall we say?
Somewhat John Wick in space, somewhat sleeper agent, maybe Pa Wraith. I don't know. A combination of things, and I'm confused.
Tom, you have many theories on the Power Wraith idea, don't you?
I have the theory of I don't like the Power Wraith idea.
Do tell more.
I don't like it.
The theory which I'm currently ascribed to for Jack Crusher is the Locutus juice theory, as I call it.
Yes.
Which is that he has some latent Locutusness in him from, Picard. And
I hope that's
it
not it.
activated from his near-death experience, which he had from the gas. And now, from the fact that even the episode before this had Shaw talking about, Locutus was the deadliest Borg, they even gave him a name, and just bigging it up like that, I feel like it's that related. There was also one of the subtitles said that...
Yeah, let's leak it. Let's tell him.
I mean, it was in the subtitle.
Exactly. If anyone complains about it, like, it was in there. The quality control of this season, by the way, I'm going to say it, like, the quality control, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we've had, 2 episodes uploaded now, where we've had to redo them because the editing's been slashed on the way. Like, it must be a problem with Paramount's player. And now whoever's doing the subtitles is clearly adding in things they're not meant to be adding in. Because, I mean, subtitles giving things away is nothing new. The whole reason we knew Dark Troopers were in The Mandalorian was because the audio description said, Moff Gideon walks up to Dark Troopers. Else we wouldn't have known until the next episode.
In an earlier episode, Vadic's crew, their subtitle was Changeling crew noises.
That was episode 3, wasn't it? Or 2 or 3?
It was in the same episode where she cut her hand off.
Okay, episode 4 then,
yeah. So it didn't spoil it for too long, but it spoiled at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, because you watch with subtitles on, don't you?
Yeah,
I do too, and I must be blind.
Yeah, I didn't.
I
didn't
I didn't see any of those.
But I saw. I think it was on. It might have been Apple TV. People were sending pictures saying it was on Apple TV.
It was definitely on Paramount as well.
Y'all can watch it on Amazon in the UK.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the captions are different on Amazon than they are on Paramount Plus.
I presume they all get sent across, like Paramount would just distribute them, like it's an easy way of doing it. I will say, however, oh boy, I can't believe the monumental cock-up this week of like Paramount releasing the episode a day early. So people could watch it on Paramount Plus in the UK on Thursday, along with all the American people, just like it should be Paramount. Maybe if we could do that from the future, that'd be great, because, it's one of the things, like, people saw me going off on one on Twitter as usual, like, and I put a thing out, it's like, take advantage of it. Like, this episode obviously has a pretty big spoiler in it, like, Lauren's return is pretty big. If you're a fan of Next Generation, her return is massive, and like, I would not have won that spoil, even though I knew about it quite a few months ago. Thank you to whoever leaked that one on their YouTube show. You know who you are. But literally, people this week, and this is something that annoys me with the internet, and it annoys me with fans in general, putting her face in thumbnails and in web articles and things like that. I'm like, guys, just give it 24 hours at least. Like, let people in the other side of the world watch it first and let them enjoy it for the first time without having it spoiled. Because, like, guys, we've all been around the block a few times. We know how shit it is, shall I say, to have something spoiled. I had the ending of Jedi Fallen Order spoiled to me, which is rather annoying. And also I had The Force Awakens spoiled to me. So I'm rather pissed off in general. So I'm glad I knew that.
I had that spoiled for me as well. Did you? I was just walking through college and someone said, "Oh, I didn't realize this happened." And I'm like, I'm watching it,
you bastard,
like, in an hour. Yeah,
I was going back at night and some absolute CUNT basically said to me, he's like, "Oh, Han Solo dies." I'm like, they've never found his body.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind over something like that. I hate spoilers.
But what's one of the annoying things was, like, people were just doing thumbnails with Roland's face in it on Thursday. I'm like, guys, come on, like.
I mean, at least do a silhouette with like with your earring visible. I'll deal
because
with
people
that.
will look at that and not immediately click. Like,
oh my god, Kira's appearing. Wow.
Yeah, but literally, it could have been something like that. Because I guess the haircut's somewhat similar from certain angles if we go off the old ones. Like,
it depends which.
Especially Kira's like season 1. So like, like it was just really annoying because I saw YouTube channels who evidently seen all 10 episodes through some way or another. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then also to just spoil stuff openly. I'm like, okay. I really wanted to do the what was it? There's a great meme somewhere. It's like, check your privilege. Oh, it's an IT crowd reference. And I was like, I really just want to drop that on and go, come on now, guys. Like, you've seen these episodes. Don't spoil it for everybody else, because that's just a dick move. But still, like, you know, I'm glad we was able to experience it. And, like, I don't think it dampened the effect for many people. I still think Roland's, like, conversations and her emotional moments with Jean-Luc Picard were what really sold this episode. And obviously her emotional ending as well. Like, I think the writing and the directing nailed that super well. And that's a credit to the entire creative team around this episode.
Yeah, definitely. It's like really strong to go out with, you know, killing off a legacy character, and it can be done well, it can be done not well. And we've seen Picard do both.
We know none of the legacy casts of Picard are safe. Like, no one's safe in this show. So I'm going to ask you all now, who do you think, out of the TNG crew, and it's going to be an emotional one, who do you think is going to get offed by the end of the season? Dom, I'll start with you. Just one character answer. Who do you think is not making it to the next part?
I haven't even thought about
No, you got to
this.
answer now. Come on.
I'm gonna say Frakes. I'm gonna say Riker.
Okay. Tex?
I don't want it, but yeah.
I mean, Worf kind of seems like the most obvious choice, because for him that would be a happy ending to have a glorious death.
Mm.
And Nick?
I want to say it's probably Picard, but I would also agree with Dom that it might be Frakes.
Mm.
I'm going to say it would not surprise me if Deanna Troi. And
That's the other one I was thinking.
yeah, just because, you know, Marina Sirtis has
All
been
good
very
things.
absent. Yeah, Marina Sirtis has been very absent.
All
Obviously,
good
that's for
things.
personal reasons anyway. But it would not surprise me if that's sort of like the emotional thing they pull. And that really would not surprise me. And we've also done Data's death a million times. So if they do that again, no one's going to be shocked.
Yes, sorry, happened twice.
Not Laura's
yeah.
death, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would
that
be a
happens.
traditional Star Trek bait and switch. Like, it's Law's death, everybody. Just watch me go, sod this.
But yeah, I do find it also interesting that a lot of people are fine with like minor character, well, not minor, but secondary characters dying, but not these legacy characters dying. And it's, if you want to kill anyone, I feel that someone we've had a lot of time with, they should be okay to die. As long as it's a good death and it's, you know, it services their character. But
What's
you
the
know,
worst
things
death in
end
Star Trek? What is the worst death in Star Trek? That's my question.
worse.
Tasha?
Probably Tasha.
Yeah.
That...
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Hugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Hugh.
Just
Someone just
because-
typed
Oh, he
development.
was sad.
He was robbed
Yeah.
as well. Like, Jonathan Del Arco is a fantastic man, and like a lot of people saying Icheb as well. Like, that was also another one. They just
Egypt was fine.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
I was
but also,
actually okay with those.
Yeah.
I was okay with both of those, but I get why people wouldn't be.
yeah.
And there was a reason why, you know,
Oh, what
both
Trip?
did, but
Trip had a terrible
Oh
death.
yeah.
Oh.
Trip, yes.
Fuck
They're
you,
all sad.
Enterprise. No.
Yeah.
Honestly, I oh, I'm gonna be emotional about Enterprise now. I really
know-
want to
you know
know.
what's funny?
Go on.
You know what's funny about that is
Yeah.
like people. I remember people's negative reactions to that in 2005, and then now when I meet people that are watching Enterprise for the first time and they get to the ending and they're just like, "What the hell kind of ending is this?" And it's like they just say all the same criticisms that I heard way back then,
Yeah.
reliving the past.
Mm,
Adam just said rip Trips nips. Wasn't that like a merch thing I got taken down?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like a
from-
Yeah.
Etsy thing, right?
Yeah.
Because Paramount don't like fun.
Because they
I'm
own the
being honest.
copyright to Trip Tucker's nipples.
Yeah, but like copyright these days. To be fair, after me complaining for 2 weeks now, they finally unblocked our review of episode 4, I think. So that's, we still can't monetize it, and they're now demonetizing more of our content, but they have unblocked it. So at least people can watch it, we just don't get paid, which isn't the end of the world for people watching it. At least they can watch it. But I'd like to turn the lights on. So we'll be doing the next series review by candlelight. All the shelves behind me are going to have candles on them. But yeah, that's... let's talk about our theories for episode 6, though. Let's talk about that, because I want to get this out of the way immediately. Like, you know, the ending of this episode, Titan's having to run now. Obviously, I think we've seen from one of the preview clips, spoiler warning, by the way, we're going to Daystrom Station. That's implied, because Worf and Raffi are on board the Titan. They're going to meet up. Tex, what do you think about episode 6? Where do you think we're going? Theories, wild things, what do you think it's going to go?
Well, I saw somewhere online that LeVar Burton and Mika Burton are supposed to be on the Ready Room next week.
Nice.
So as soon as I saw that, I immediately thought like, finally Geordi. They kind of held off on Geordi for a long time, so it'll be cool to finally see his face, because he's the only, I guess, Brent Spiner, but out of like the surviving TNG characters, he's the only one that we haven't gotten any type of glimpse of yet.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dom, yourself?
So yeah, Daystrom. I saw a lot of things because the Red Room clip said that Daystrom was protected by a sophisticated AI. And we've seen clips of like Moriarty. I didn't piece that together, but some other people said, "Oh, will it be Moriarty?" So Moriarty, and it's also kind of a bad fate for Moriarty he wanted freedom, and then Starfleet has made him into a glorified security system.
Yeah.
Would be extremely that's kind of bad on Starfleet's part there's this new life form, let's use it.
But didn't you know, also, Dom, it's modern Star Trek, Starfleet are evil, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So that would be cool. Obviously, Tex just said with Mika Burton and LeVar, they will be in next week's episode. Mika Burton also posted a picture being like, I'm in next week's episode, so we know that. So how they're connected to Daystrom, whether they, go and find Geordi first to maybe help take down the security system with Krynn's security chip thing that they talked about in this episode.
Could be an idea.
That might be the case. We also know he is heading up the Fleet Museum on, I think it's Anthem Prime.
Anthem Prime,
so whether they need another ship or something.
If they go to the Fleet Museum, I can't wait just so we've got about... I really want to take the piss and do like 5 minutes of ship B-roll like Lower Decks did, to take the mick, where we just get some like fantastic fanfare music as like every ship is displayed in like 4K sparkling. When Lower Decks took the piss in like one of the movie episodes, I want them to do that.
Yes.
I want every ship to come out with sovereignty as well. If there's not a sovereign class there, I'll cry. You're right.
Just add some lens flares there.
A couple of lens flares. We'll get JJ in for a couple of minutes. Add some lens flares.
There were sovereigns in the trailer. You're gonna get your sovereigns.
But I want a Vesta class. We're robbed of a Vesta class. I also just want a bloody Odyssey class at this point. Like, hurry up. Come on. I know it's there.
They keep getting teased about it.
Stop edging us with the Odyssey.
The Pathfinder. They have the Pathfinder class for the Voyager B on Raffi's computer.
We've not
display.
seen it yet, though. Let them show it, and then I'll be happy about it.
With the Odyssey class, something interesting that was brought up on Twitter was it was interesting that the Enterprise F's decommissioning was in Rose files about this whole infiltration, and some people were wondering if the Changelings were responsible for sending the F to be decommissioned. Decommission the flagship, and then they initialize their plan to destroy the Federation or whatever they do.
That's a good way to take down the organization.
The Changelings are not fans of the Odyssey class. They're like, nah, get rid of that ship. Let's decommission it.
I know what's going to happen this season. Bad. Mark my word, they're going to launch the Enterprise G at the end just so the season 3 producers can go, hey, look, we've got a new Enterprise. This is why we need a new show. Well, hey. If I end up coming right, but bear in mind, I should legally say, I've not seen all 10 episodes because I've put opinions online. So therefore, I don't know what's going to happen in episode 10. So if I've just hit the nail on the head there, somebody owes me a 5 at the end of this episode or end of this season. That'd be hilarious. I hope I'm right.
I won't give you that. But,
you owe me a drink at Star Wars Celebration. There you go.
Well, there we go.
Problem solved. Nick, what do you think of episode 6 before I start rambling?
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around whatever is happening with Jack. Maybe to get past Moriarty, you need the help of Lore, and then there's his entrance. I don't know.
Ooh, that could be a good idea, actually. I like that. It would be a good casual way to introduce Lore as well. Not just go, hey, look, we dug him out of the closet. Here he goes.
For no reason, here.
Yeah, it's I feel like one of the troubles that or challenges of writing this season is working where everyone bloody is and how to also get them. Like, it's not like you can ring up and go, hey guys, we just like, fucked off the Federation. Do you fancy giving us a hand? Which I guess is some way to get some characters back, but they couldn't have gone around the entire next gen cast going, hey guys, we pissed off the Federation. Do you fancy giving us a hand? Like, that would have been getting a bit stale in the writing room pretty quickly. So having a way of like making lore come back or Data or Alton, whatever, like, it's going to be some ways making it work. So
one interesting thing with Alton and lore and everything. So before the season came out, they put out Star Trek logs on Instagram,
which
which have now been contradicted.
Some of the dates
I'm just going to say now, I'm going to interrupt you. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. The dating system around season 3, I don't think whoever was writing this worked it out from the get-go, because multiple times have like dates come up and they've contradicted each other and things seem to happen too close.
Only from ancillary stuff. Nothing in the show
True,
has been
but it still seems like things have happened too quick. I mean, this comes to me. There's a lot of arguments online over Ed Spelliers being too old to play Jack Crusher, because Jack Crusher's meant to be 23 or something like that, or 22.
23,
however,
24.
Yeah,
he actually has to be even younger.
Okay.
I think he's only 20.
Okay, but Ed Spelliers himself, I think, is like 35 at least, or something like that, or he's nearing his 40s. Nothing wrong with that.
I think. Yeah.
It's also not unknown for older actors to play younger roles. It's like how acting works. Like, but it's big, like, I don't know, big argument online right now. But I see executives shouting at people and people shouting back. Like, there's a whole rigmarole on Twitter. I'm glad I took a week off. And I'm like, but it seems like maybe Jack was meant to be older than he actually is. Then they've wound the dates back, and it no longer makes sense. Like, obviously, if this was set in 2000 or it's 2411 as it was first implied, then it was 2407, like, and now it's obviously 2401. So the whole of Picard season 2 and then season 3 happens in the same year, which is a little bit too close to home. Where traditionally Star Trek series, or season should I say, did a year plus. So if season 1 was 2399, then season 2 should have been 2400, and then season 3 should be 2401. It just looks like maybe they did the dates and then copied it.
Interesting about season 2. Season 2 is also in 2401. It has a wine harvest, and we know that this season is in 2401, and it's in April because that's when Frontier Day is, which means that the wine harvest at Chateau Picard had to be a spring wine harvest, and it's only been a couple of months since.
But don't worry, we can write ourselves as a whole by going it's futuristic wine, so
Oh yeah, genetically engineered wine.
Exactly,
you have weather control systems. You can do that, and it was perfectly fine.
I'm just saying, but dates do seem confusing.
Is it possible that season 2 is actually in 2400? Because Rios does say when he's detained by ICE, he says, I have to get back to the year 2400, or I'm from the year 2400.
The only way it can be in 2400 is if Picard commits fraud, because he labels his wine as 2401.
I mean,
so if he is labeling if he's mislabeling his wine and committing fraud, then
I can't wait for season 4 where it's the IRS kick Picard up the arse. It is tax season right now anyway, so
when do they harvest the grapes in France? When do they do that?
Normally you harvest grapes in like autumn, I believe.
Go on, Dom. Tell us your wine knowledge here. When is the perfect time to harvest your grapes for your wine?
I do not know this.
Does anybody know in the chat? When do you typically harvest grapes for wine? Can someone tell us, please? Phone in right now on 0800. No. You tell. We should have a phone number.
What if you harvest the 2401 grapes in the fall of 2400 though? And then like
still fraud.
It could work if
I'm glad we've gone down to this core discussion.
it could work if the process of the making of the wine doesn't finish until 2401, so they're just pre-labeling it, and it just takes a while.
Right.
That can work.
Right.
Isn't there a TV show that Jonathan Frakes was in called How to Sell Drugs and Get Away with It? I feel like we have a lot of Frakes memes that go, we made it up. It's pure fiction. It's a fabrication. Like, back to the whole... How to write Star Trek. We made it up.
I think we figured this out. And then Dom, as long as Zhaban's death is 18 months before that wine harvest, so if that's in the autumn of 2400,
then can work.
If that means Zhaban dies in like the spring of 2399.
No, he died because they couldn't afford him.
Picard season 1 just takes place before Zhaban's death in spring of 2399.
It's actually a figment of her imagination. That's the plot of You season 4.
Yes. Because the only thing we have to date 2401 is that wine label. So yeah, that could be the case.
Thank you, Star Trek, for confusing the hell out of us.
Hey, it's fun for me. It's confusing for everyone else.
No, it's not. It's maybe not fun for you, but when I read scripts and they've got multiple dates and realise you've gone mental in the middle of the night, it's not fun. I swear, was it the Titan video we did where we had to go back and change it because then they decided to announce they changed for pissing dates or something? It was the first video, yeah, and it was really bloody confusing.
Because the first video on the Titan
we did via the logs,
season we
didn't
put
we?
out was we said the Titan launched in 2402, which
makes sense as well.
Which also makes sense for the and then
Stargazer
Shaw
was a
said
brand new
that it's
launch
in 5 years. So I was like, okay, that means
That
season
doesn't
3
make
takes place
sense.
2407.
Him saying
But now
5
we know that
years makes no
Shaw-
sense either.
Shaw probably was captain of the original Lunar class Titan for 2 years, got it destroyed, and then oversaw
Nice.
the refit to the Constitution Free class. Is
But
what
also,
it looks like right now.
They say the Titan had launched, and then they say it's been on quite a lot of missions. And obviously, these could be just going out to pick up the milk and then coming back. But when you hear a starship thinking of mission, you think, oh, that's probably a long-term thing, at least a couple of weeks and then a month. The time rate or time bit for them to fit all of this in is getting slimmer and slimmer. And I maintain my stance, and I can't wait for a couple of years' time when this all comes out. Someone's cocked up something in the date department for writing this season, and I remain adamant on that so far, just because it doesn't make sense, and it's all too close together.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened before with TNG.
Yeah, true.
And not saying what date it was, and being like, oh, it's 100 years later. Okay, well, McCoy being there, he has to live till 100 and something. And
And it's got the good juices, apparently.
Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, widely considered the best Star Trek movie of all time, beloved for decades. No one can figure out what year that takes place in, or how many years after Space Seed, or before the stuff that comes later. That's a hot mess, also.
Yeah, so it's just Star Trek tradition. It's up to fans to somewhat fix. Oh, okay, so the wine process just takes a little longer.
Hang on, they say stardate. They said a stardate in episode 5, haven't they? Riker does this. Has anyone traced what date that leads back to?
2401.
Okay, I mean that also could have been ADR as well.
Yeah.
So they could easily just put that in to correct their mistake later on.
Yeah,
we know they do that.
2401. I think it's actually the correct date because in the Ready Room promo for next episode, they say it's 48 hours until First Contact Day. First Contact Day is April 16th, 2401. So
Pioneer Day, not First Contact Day.
Frontier Day.
Frontier Day. That's what I meant. Frontier Day, which means
Frontier Day. Okay.
Everybody gets a day.
Place.
That's 2 big holidays in April.
Yes.
The 14th?
Yes, that's when the next episode will take place.
Okay.
Admiral Tiberius Merck, thank you for the donation. I just want to introduce my nickname for the Intrepid, the USS Jack Rabbit. Couldn't see it after seeing its profile. It does have an interesting profile, I'll give you that. The Intrepid's profile is very interesting. And I read some on Twitter today. I'm not sure if it was Dave or I read it on Facebook by Doug. The drive section of the Intrepid can be swapped out for other things, apparently. So I read that some on Twitter. Apparently it can be swapped out.
Cool.
Which is interesting. So I guess it's a multi-role.
Variation, yeah.
I wanted a big
show
honking...
us a different one.
I'm going to quote Star Trek here. I want a big honking space gun there, a big-ass cannon. The laser lance from the Ultimate Enterprise D or the Galaxy X, sorry. Put that down there. That'd be amazing.
Or the massive cannons on the Vengeance class.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just stick an Inquiry class down there. Copy and paste it down there.
So different variants I'd like to see because this season we are getting the Echelon class, which is a 2 nacelled version of the Sagan class. And that's a Trek tradition of just let's strap another nacelle on it, or let's just add a different pod on the back.
Yeah. Let's put highlights on the ships.
There we go. Oh yeah, just add some highlighters.
I was wondering whether I'd really recommend going and watching our Kit Bash video. I think I titled it "What the fuck is this?" about the Jaeger class. So I was quite proud of that thumbnail. I've got a video coming up soon, and you guys do you reckon I can get away with calling a video "The Sexy Enterprise"? Because we're talking about a specific Enterprise, and I'm wondering if YouTube TOS will let me get away with that.
Oh, you mean the Enterprise C, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely the C. Yeah, not the most boring bloody Enterprise. But...
So Tim Jerome says that the Intrepid looks like the Wasp class from FASA, and yeah, it does, because this ship was made by Bill Krause, and he took that design and then made a model of it, and this is the 25th version of that model, which I think was the Tornado class. So it has a long history, this class of ship, behind the scenes, and which is really nice.
It was really cool. I can't wait to see more ships as well. Obviously, we've seen... Don, what was the one you found in the trailer today? You found in one of the Picard trailers, the Star Trek Online ship. Can we talk about that? We're not meant to talk about that yet.
No idea.
Okay. Is that no idea we're not meant to talk about it, or...?
No idea. Let's not talk about it just in case.
Okay, fair enough. Paramount PR sweating at the neck right now. He's doing it again. He's leaking it. Not that we leak stuff.
In the trailer.
It's in the trailer. There we go. Chat, feel free to enter your questions into the chat right now. Obviously, that's where you are. You're not in my head. And we'll discuss any questions people want to bring to the table about Picard Season 3, Episode 5. If you've got any theories, let's discuss those as well. It'd be fantastic to hear from you. Don't forget, we always value your opinions here on Trek Central. If you can't type in YouTube chat, feel free to tweet them to us. I will read the Twitter in just a second, and tag my personal Twitter as well, if you don't mind, at CaptainJackYT. It means I'll definitely see it, and we can go from there. Condor 1994 says, so team anyone else feel the decommissioning of the Enterprise F is a changing plot to get off the table? We actually just mentioned that about 20 minutes ago, about the Enterprise F being decommissioned by the Changelings. I hope so. And then I want a cool action sequence where they go, nah, stuff this, pull off the curtains, we're putting the Enterprise F back into action, and I finally get the Odyssey class being awesome. Because if that ship doesn't fire a single phaser this season, I'm rioting.
Well, we also... there's only been one phaser fired in this season so far. That was a point. It's all torpedoes. The only phaser
and no quantums.
Yeah,
there haven't been any quantum torpedoes. Why aren't they using quantums in the 25th century?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll find out. Maybe. I think Terry Matala said there was an incident, which is why there aren't quantums at the moment.
That sounds bullshit.
I mean, you know, all writing is.
I think they just like. I think they just like the red torpedoes. They're
like
the red
blue
torpedoes
ones.
look cooler.
And also,
I like the blue ones,
especially for photon torpedoes. I think you're more able to change the yield of them than quantum torpedoes. You know, you can.
Quantum's like, let's throw it because we want to nuke something.
Do nothing. You know, just hit a shuttle. You can do it.
And you can put a body in it.
Speaking of the phasers, the phasers on the Titan are weird. It has the ball turrets and it has strips both.
Yes.
So what would it shoot if it does like?
It depends on the situation.
Fire both.
Because I think Dave Blass also commented on this, being that they're for different situations.
I hope we get like a proper battle scene in Picard Season 3. Like you know, obviously we've had the trading bits with the Shrike, but I hope we get some proper like Starship action. Like I'm thinking back to Star Trek Enterprise, where like, you know, the poor Enterprise was practically gutted during the Battle of Zadi Prime. So like I'm hoping we get some not to that scale, because I think with Titan, hopefully the time we'll see the end of the season. But yeah, hopefully we get some really cool. And I feel like so in the end credits we see Earth Space Dock, I think, and then it looks like on the like LCARs you can see what looks like the hero ships circling it, so you can see the Defiant. I think Voyager's in Enterprise A, one of them. We know anything anyway.
Voyager and Enterprise, Defiant, and the Galaxy.
I'm really wondering if is the Galaxy there as well, is it?
I thought it was. I may have to double check that.
But... We're leaking stuff again. That'd be quite funny.
Trailer.
And also we know
it's in the ending.
We know it. We know there's going to be a Galaxy class showing up. Let's all stop kidding ourselves. Like, you know, we it's been leaked enough times, hasn't it? Anyone who went to Star Trek Las Vegas knows the story behind that one. Way. But no, what I was going to say is, like, in the LCARS thing, we see the hero ships, like, flying around Space Dock. I strongly think for, like, whenever this moment appears, probably in episode 9 or 10, I reckon it's going to be a case of, like, the decommissioning ceremony is taking place, and also all our hero ships are out to, like, show off Frontier Day and things like that. But also, like, if a big battle kicks off, all our hero ships are going to take place in it. And one of the Enterprise A firing some phasers, like, all of these ships have been souped up for Frontier Day. They're all going to be working still. Wouldn't that be really cool to have, like, Voyager firing a couple torpedoes or more than it's actually got? Just stick some couple Starship units in there.
And also in the end credits, you see that I think you see that Voyager was in the Fleet Museum.
Yeah.
As well as a bunch of other ships. So they are being maintained.
In a pristine condition.
I'm also seeing a lot of comments in the chat about the Titan crew being transferred over to the Intrepid, which we can talk about because that's an interesting point, which was also brought up in our Discord server.
Before we do,
okay.
Let's quickly thank Velmus for the £2 donation saying, bring back Dr. Pulaski. I would love to see Pulaski back. I think she's really good on the show. And also Admiral Merck again saying, I know episode 6 is going to have a reference to the William Shatner novel The Return. As of the novel, I'm very curious. I don't know, actually. We've not seen episode 6. I've not read that one as well. I remember which one you're on about. I remember off the top of my head because I've read the bit on Memory Beta. But yeah, maybe it'll have it. I don't know. We've not seen episode 6, so we do not know. But Dom, continue as you were saying.
Yeah, so Roe transferred a bunch of the Titan crew over to the Intrepid, left them with a skeleton crew to make sure they knew who was on the Titan so it could go do its mission. And a lot of people were like, oh, but you sent them all to their deaths because there's changelings on the Intrepid. We don't know how many changelings were on the Intrepid, and at most, I would actually say there were only 4 changelings on the Intrepid. If there were any more, they would have beamed over to the Titan to get Jack Crusher. Why would they only send 4 if they had way more on the Titan, on the Intrepid? Because I think the biggest weakness to the changelings' plan is that there aren't thousands of them. There's probably only like hundreds of them. So I don't think that the crew of the Titan were beamed to their death.
Pretty dark they were.
Yeah, exactly. Also, you do have what's happening with the transporter.
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't it alluded in this episode, but like something transporter-wise is going on? And obviously, it's implied Roland doesn't trust the transporter herself, isn't it? And it's not just coming from like the old Dr. McCoy thing of I don't trust it. Tex, do you pick up on this as well, the transporters?
Absolutely, and the Titan changeling that was there from the start, Ensign Foster, right? Or Foster, I think. But he was the transporter chief, and you actually see him in the second episode, like almost beam Jack over to the Shrike when Jack was trying to turn himself over. So he was like, yeah, I'll beam you over there until 7 came and interrupted. So yeah, they definitely seem to be going after the transporter chiefs. Maybe that's where they're trying to infiltrate from on every ship. And I noticed Dom is in the transporter room right now.
Yeah, Dom, what are you doing in there?
Operation Gold. So
You got to be in work tomorrow morning. What are you doing in the transporter room?
I'm just fixing all the problems.
Or is he an imposter?
Actually.
I think we know how this season's going to end because like Toya Matalas put a picture up of like the final shot of the season. I'm pretty sure it had a Borg hand in it, which must be Jerry Ryan's hand, I think. Do you not remember? I'm not envisioning this. I remember him putting a picture up like a year ago on a final shooting day of season 3, and like it was in the transporter because you can see the yellow walls behind it, or orange walls. Colorblind, let me off. And you can see a Borg hand. It looks like someone's hand with like the nanoprobes over it. So I reckon it's 7. I'm not imagining it.
I'm not remembering.
I remember it.
I do not remember that.
No, I remember it.
Sure you're not saying
I'm not scrolling through his Twitter. I can't be asked. It's in our group chat somewhere. We store all these things anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, I believe you, but
we'll wait until we get to episode 10, won't we?
Yeah, we'll have to wait.
Thank you to whoever leaked me all 10 episodes. I'm joking. Before I get sued tomorrow morning. What? If people can openly say about it, I can joke about it.
Yeah.
But I reckon it's going to end there. Like an ending scene is going to be on that transporter. That's my bet. Well, probably it's a Star Trek series. An ending scene with a ship going to warp or something like that. And I bet you they're going to be like cliche and make the TNG cast sign the names at the end of it for a laugh.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I want that to happen. That's on my like wish list of things to happen in season 3.
Considering how they said like 6. Next Gen never got a sign, or Next Gen never had like a proper ending. Like Nemesis was an ending whether you like it or not. Like it's sort of an open-ended one, but like we saw our crew continuing on. They should have not removed so many deleted scenes from Nemesis. Like They should have kept a few in there. But yeah, it's... Nick, how do you want season 3 to end out of interest? What's your dream ending for the TNG crew and like where we go next?
To not end.
That's a good question.
Give me
Yeah.
another one.
For the sake of our
I
YouTube
mean,
views.
Well, just because TNG was always my favorite. Even after just watching DS9, I love Enterprise, but I don't think TNG can be replaced for me, which is why I don't really want to see legacy characters die, even though we have some cool new people. But yeah, just let them continue on their adventures, please.
£10 says Ed Spelliers has got his own Star Trek show in the works. I was like, that's a good question as well. Like, will we see another 25th century Star Trek series? I personally think I want one because I think this is a prime time to set a Star Trek series in. But I think we've got a longer conversation about how we go forward from a series at the end of the season, and I'm not going to allude to why that's the case, but yeah.
You can do that. It's just continue Star Trek Picard, but it's with Jack Crusher now. Yeah. Jack Picard. That just sounds weird to say.
As someone who's called Jack as well, this season's been a pain in the ass so far. I've got too many Jacks in my life. It's bloody annoying at the minute.
But yeah, that's a way to continue it.
I trolled TJ in a week because she said, "Oh, Jack's done it again." And in the group chat, I was like, "What have I done? I've not done anything. What are you asking me for?"
What do you mean?
Yeah, I haven't done anything. I've not killed 4 people on deck 5. What are you on about? It's not been that rough of a day in work, Christ.
I do have to add, I do really like that Jack actually confided in his mom and was like, "Yeah, something's wrong with me." Because
I'm fucked
in a lot
up.
of shows, in a lot of shows, you know, they'll keep that, he wants to keep it to himself because he thinks he's going crazy or something. And, you know, a lot of shows do that for the drama, and this, it's just, yeah, okay, something's wrong with me. I'll at least confide in my mom, even if I don't confide in Picard or anyone else.
There is so much meme material in this episode alone, which is hilarious. Like, I think me and Troy, our editor Troy, are going to go through and make meme edits of season 3 at some point. Did anybody see the meme trailer where somebody basically ad-libbed the trailer of Picard season 3?
Or not?
Yeah, and it's like,
hilarious.
"Your steamed carrots, sir." But the best one,
really good.
The best one, and I keep quoting it to Troy around the office, is like, "Jean-Luc, you're still in the Nexus. It's me, Beverly." And it's like, "Oh, what a big load of bollocks that is." I'm like, I need to make a gif of that, so whenever someone tweets some horseshit Star Trek article, I can quote it going, "Oh, what a load of bollocks." Because I love the idea of Patrick Stewart saying that. And he probably says it as well, because he swears like a trooper occasionally.
Well, I found out recently that Frakes swears so much in real life. Like, I was listening to...
all those articles about Star Trek swearing, and it's like, well, you know, people do that in real life, get over it.
Yeah, I was listening to his interview with Gates on her podcast.
Okay.
And the first thing that Frakes said is just like, "It's been a fucking year." Just like, yeah.
Can't we find that relatable? Everybody pour yourself a drink. It's been a week.
And I was just like, Frakes. Okay.
Actually, do you not remember?
Listen to him on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, Inside You.
Yeah.
He was just on there recently.
Oh yeah, I think I
During
saw
the,
that, but I didn't watch it.
During the PR trip last year for Picard season 3, obviously they were at San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. Frakes and the TNG crew did an interview, I think it was New York, with Entertainment Weekly, and they're all riffing around at the end. And obviously Sir Patrick looks very tired, naturally. Excuse me, but at the end of it, I think Frakes is like, "Sir Patrick, you want to drop the F-bomb?" And like, was it me? Was like, Sir Patrick's like, no, I can't do that. I'm an actor. And Frakes goes, "All right, let's get the fuck out of here." So everybody walks off. I'm like, I love this man. Like,
I think there was a video behind the scenes from episode 3 or 4, maybe 3, of Frakes being like, can we get the blue guy out of the thing?
Oh, yeah.
Get that fucking Andorian out of there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you get someone going, "Sorry, you're not needed. You're not needed. It's fine. Back away. I mean, yeah, if Jonathan... there's an outtake from Discovery Season 2 where obviously we've got Anson Mount on the bridge, and like you can hear in the back Frakes shouting like, "Roll to the left, do this, do that, do that," and you can hear Anson Mount going, still thinks he's an actor, doesn't he? Like, he still thinks he's on the Enterprise, like, which is
And there's
amazing.
also the blooper reel for Strange New Worlds.
Yes, yeah.
It's coming out, and they've shown some stuff from that of just Anson walking into an automatic door and it not opening.
I feel like that's your Star Trek
so
passage.
happy about I'm so happy about that 4K release that they're doing.
Yeah.
I strongly encourage people, if you want 4K releases of Star Trek, please buy that, because that is very, very rare for TV shows to get a 4K Blu-ray release.
Yeah, usually movies get it all the time, but TV shows very, very rare. It's also worth noting as well, like if you want Star Trek physical media, definitely start picking it up. Like, don't waste time. And I'm not saying this, we're not paid to promote this. I can give a toss if you go and do it personally. I don't buy DVDs myself. I don't collect DVDs anymore. However, the reason I say this is because I think, is it Lower Decks season 3, Dom, or season 3? I think the physical media for that is going made to order or something like that, or TJ if you're still around. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. Like, obviously sales for season 1 and 2 might have been low, so they're just doing made to order now for season 3. So that's a bit of a big of a blow to like physical media for Star Trek. Like, sure, it's more,
that breaks my heart.
It's obviously cost effective for the company, and it makes sense that way. It's not so much waste around the world, but also like it does mean it'll be harder to source if you don't get it when and where it actually is. That's something to keep in mind. It's print on demand, print on demand, which I guess is made to order.
Made to order, yeah.
And I don't think there's any steelbook this time around, because for Lower Deck season 1 and 2, we've had steelbook releases. For season 3, yeah, steelbooks, I love it. I've got a Halo steelbook around it, which is beautiful. I got a Discovery one as well. Like, steelbook's fantastic. So the fact they're not getting one does definitely show that sales have gone down. So if you want physical media, buy it. Yeah, I just don't buy physical media anymore because I don't have the shelf space personally. I envy people who have stacks of DVDs. I don't. I don't have the space for it. I've still got enough like Nintendo Wii games and stuff stacked away somewhere, and PS2 things. I don't even own those bloody consoles anymore. But oh well. Switch game cases, they can get in the bin. They're annoying. Why do we have to make them so small?
Oh yeah, I just use like Game Boy cases to put all the Switch cartridges.
Oh, like
in.
the big, yeah, that's a throwback, isn't it?
Well. Yeah.
That's a throwback. I had one of those when I was growing up. Christ, I had a Nintendo DS one. That's what it was. What a great console that was. Like, also Star Trek games. When the hell are we getting Star Trek Resurgence? Because we had a bit of info about that recently, didn't we?
I want it so bad.
April.
April?
That's
Oh,
what
sod
they
that.
I
said.
think they said April or May. Yeah.
They said April.
I bet you a $5 now on air. It's going to get delayed.
The Star Trek Resurgence comic just finished.
Yeah.
It's very good, and it very much... because what I didn't realize was that in the comic, the engineering, the secondary hull, is different than what we see in the game trailer.
Oh, is
so
it?
I was like, ooh, yeah.
Something happened to that in the comic?
Yes.
Okay, don't spoil it, because I'm going to have... I originally started doing those reviews, so I need to finish your comic.
It's very good, and it also, a lot of the characters you'll meet in the game, you'll get a good understanding of them in the comic.
I'm gonna jinx this. I quite like the first officer.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay, good. I thought he was about to say... Yeah, now he's been replaced in the game, so that's a bit annoying. Yeah, dead. Yeah. He dead. Your first officer, he dead.
But yeah, and then the Star Trek Resurgence team have said on Twitter that they'll be showing some more stuff now that the comics ended. So hopefully that means we do get in April,
cool.
but April's
really busy because we've got Jedi Fallen or Jedi Survivor, whatever it is.
April is next month.
I know, it's scary, isn't
right
it?
around the corner.
I don't
Anybody
know if
feeling
it
old?
will come out April.
I don't think it will.
April is like 2 weeks away, so...
Yeah.
Text, don't say that. God. Oh, getting old. Everything's falling apart.
It just feels like Picard season 3 started last week.
No, we're halfway done.
Now we're halfway done.
Oh.
But you know, the good part about that is that I think now that we're getting into the second half of Picard, they're going to start promoting Strange New Worlds soon. So
that's a lovely idea.
Because they just today said there was a Strange New Worlds trivia night.
If they announce it there, I'm going to be rather pissed off.
I mean, they'll announce it online as well. But,
well, true. Oh, somebody will leak it beforehand as well, so.
Yeah, so...
you guys can't see the faces I make to the camera, which is quite... If the stream get to see it, you guys don't. I also can't wait for them to officially confirm season 3's in production, because that would be an idea, like... I'm not sure if I'm blowing the lid on that one, but...
Yeah, there's 3 things that I feel like will happen any day now, and they might all happen on the same day, but a season 3 official confirmation, a season 2 trailer, and a season 2 release date. So I expect that we'll get those 3 things very soon in the next few weeks.
Well, to be fair, I was been told I can say something, which is great. My lovely executive producer tell me the thing again, which I'm allowed to say. everyone pay attention if you want some Strange New Worlds news, because I'm about to break it for you, and we're doing it live. And we're going to do it quickly before my house is blown up or someone snipes the stream.
I'm terrified
so,
right now.
yeah, get typing away. Everybody, get yourself a drink. It's going to be hilarious. Everyone's excited for Strange New Worlds, right? We're all looking forward to that, yeah? Don't all cheer at once, you miserable bastards. Like, Christ. Give it a bit of pep here, come on.
Anxious what you're going to say.
Oh, yeah.
You're making us nervous. You're making us nervous,
The
Jack.
thing is, I could say a ton of stuff right now about Star Trek, and it would upset quite a lot of people, but I'm not going to do that. So we recently learned that Akiva Goldsman, who's obviously, I think he's co-showrunner of Strange New Worlds, or he's at least the executive producer. He was recently at an MIT Media Lab conference, and he announced the season 2 premiere date is about to be announced any second now. And basically, they are starting to film season 3, which is now official. Like, the co-showrunner has said that, so Paramount, please don't come after me. Like, we're reporting news here, not leaking ourselves. But also, season 3 has been in the production pipelines, and if you know where to look, you know season 3 is in production. It's also like how we knew season 5 of Discovery would likely be the last one, because several crew were shifting from Discovery season 5 to Strange World season 3, which makes sense. And if you know what you're looking for like we do, it's pretty common sense. You can't miss these things. We do actually have a video of Akiva Goldsman talking about this, and we're going to release it after this live stream. There, I've said it, so you can see that, and we're going to go for it. So, happy days. Good luck, everyone. I'll be arrested tomorrow morning. So, yeah. Thank you for round of applause. But yes,
So our Twitter account will be suspended.
Yeah, for reporting things, for reporting the news. He's done it again. Captain Jack's done it again. The reason why I don't come on these streams anymore, because I get too carried away and reveal things. So,
yeah, I should.
Anybody want to know a Picard spoiler?
No.
Anybody want to know one?
No.
No.
Place your bets. Place your bets. I don't actually have any, to be fair. Roland was like spoiled ages ago. Like, somebody said it on the live stream.
And also was spoiled from Brazil because they released the episode a couple days early.
Did they?
Yeah. So there was a screenshot of Rolaren in the episode from.
I
think
absolutely
it was
love.
Tuesday.
I love the job they're doing behind the scenes to make sure this is all released on time. I'm so... I don't know how more sarcastic could make that, but cracking job, everybody. Well done. But we're going to wrap up the stream as I'm probably going to get torpedoed in a minute. But thank you everyone for watching it. Nick, Tex, Dom, it's been a pleasure as per usual. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys have had fun, and I hope you continue streaming for the next couple of weeks. I'll be back for episode 10 when I'm let out of a brig.
Yes. I just ended the poll
Very nice.
of favorite aspects of this episode, and the winner is the return of Rolaren, surprisingly. And then
Oh,
it's
we didn't
Angry
even talk
USS
about Worf
Intrepid.
kind of
Oh,
dying,
shit, we didn't, did we?
At all?
I mean,
well.
no one believed that.
Yeah.
So,
The fact we've seen him in the trailer saying, I like model trains, like, that says a lot, so... I'm quoting the wrong trailer, but it still applies. It's the same scene.
It was
yeah, and then Angry USS Intrepid second, Vulcan Gangster Kryn is third, and Picard Talking Bajoran is fourth. So thank you for voting in that.
Thank you, everybody, for your donations and super chats as well. It's greatly appreciated. Don't forget, if you want to support Trek Central and our endeavours to report on accurate Star Trek news and not piss so many people off at the same time, your super chats and memberships are very much appreciated. I see you guys with the badges in the chat there. Very nice. Thank you. We've got Admiral Morak, who donated a fair bit this stream. Thank you very much. And Valamis, for your $2 donation. Thank you very much. Remember, we'll be back here at 9 p.m. GMT next week, but clocks are due to change at some point in the future, so keep an eye out for that as we go into BST. I don't know when they change. Is it Easter or
I
something?
think that's the end of this month.
It's the end of this month? God damn it. Like, at least we'll be
I
back
think,
online with
yeah.
like the US people, because Tech's gonna stop getting confused then when we're streaming, because people keep changing clocks, which is really annoying.
Yeah, when do you change your clocks?
I don't know. I don't know
End of
anymore.
month,
No one
I
knows.
think.
Everything's automatic.
So-
I just wake up and feel tired. Well, that's the usual thing, to be fair. So
We'll let you know.
We'll let
But,
you know.
yeah. We'll let you know
It's-
when we know, but we don't know when times change.
when we know, you'll know. So you know when we know.
Yeah.
Oh,
If it's
bloody
legit-
hell.
Exactly. That's the tagline of Trek Central Weekly. Bloody hell.
Time is the fire in which we all burn.
Go fuck yourself.
Especially when.
time's an illusion.
I think
Yeah,
times.
time's
I'm not going to quote the whole thing. All right, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. Remember, you can go check out Tex on his channel. You can go check out Nick on her Twitch channel and Twitter. Links down below as usual and on Twitter. Thank you very much, everyone. I've been Captain Jack. We'll be back in a week with our Star Trek Picard Season 3 theories and more Star Trek news coverage. Head over to our Twitter if you want to see a video before it's properly taken down. Good luck, everyone. Have fun, live long and prosper. I'm going to give you a cheeky Vulcan salute, and we'll see you soon.